You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become.
But you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit. Anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they have happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. Anybody can have faith under those kinds of circumstances. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. It takes courage to act. Part of being hungry when you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. Fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can age you, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you.
At the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. Behind your little feelings, it might not be absolutely nothing at the end of your little feelings, but behind every principle is a promise. And some of you in your life, the reason why you're not at your goal right now, because you just all about your feelings. You all on your feelings. You don't feel like waking up. So who does? Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months, a whole year. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long.
Don't allow your emotions to control you. We are emotional, but you want to begin to discipline your emotion. If you don't discipline and contain your emotions, they will use you. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back. And I'll be stronger and better because of it. You have got to make a declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. Take full responsibility for your life. Accept where you are and the responsibility that you're going to take yourself where you want to go. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. Live your life with passion, with some drive. Decide that you're going to push yourself. the last chapter to your life has not been written yet. And it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
This year I will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. I can. I can. I can.
To persevere, I think, is important for everybody. Don't give up. Don't give in. There's always an answer to everything.
You can't give up. You can't give in. This life was not just created for you, or you, or you, or you. This spider web is the mangled mess of connection that breathes life into us all. We are a people bound chapter by chapter to make the story. No one of us can bear on with the existence and practices of our past. You see, without you, baby spider, this universe becomes parallel and changed. Without you, baby spider, the chains are broken and the connection roams free. Without your involvement, your voice, your decisions, this universe is not this universe. Every move you make, every single day would not be present. It would not be past. It would not be future. It would be absent-mindedly blank. We touch other people's lives simply by existing, once said Raleigh. We as baby spiders join our webs in links and loops upon no choice. We exist without recognizing our existence. We fight without knowing our cause. Vocals to vocals and hearts to hearts, our minds intertwine. We mix and mingle with the lives intended to be there, the lives intended to be encountered. You see, little one, without these binds and locks, this universe would stand alone. We fight for those that have no fight left. We see the value in their story, and it is not yet over. We nationize to create our physical bands and mental bands. We don't stop. The impact, your impact. It's too great. It's too special. It's too unique. Your impact is your purpose, a purpose you may be lucky enough to know, a purpose that may hide among the shadows and live in the closets. Nonetheless, a purpose that impacts other lives, a purpose that fights on its own, silent and violent, all wrapped up into one beautiful mess, one concoction of connection that renders impact. Okay, I want everyone to take your right hand and place it on your heart. What do you feel? Mine's racing. I feel racing. I'll be honest with you. That's your purpose. That's your reason to live. That's what gives you life so that you can go out and impact others as much as they impact you. So, drawing on our fine video that, thank God, Jen found for me. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And this, when I first watched this, I was like, I don't believe that, because to me, you look forward in life. You don't want to look back. You hear all the time, don't look back, don't look back. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know who we're going to meet. We don't know where we're going to end up in life. Had someone come to me a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and said, you're going to be at Chatham University one day, I would have said, hell no, I'm not. What do you mean I'm moving to Pittsburgh? There's no way. I'm not leaving Ohio. And here I am. So I think about actually a conversation I had with my uncle for my 20th birthday. My aunt and uncle had taken me out to dinner, and he had said to me at dinner, where do you want to be by 21? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm just happy to be 20, let alone 21. I'm not even thinking about that. Other than the fact that I will have hit the legal age to drink, that's beside the point. I said to him with all of the will and all of the smile in my face, my eyes, I want to be speaking somewhere. Never in a million years would I have dreamed of standing in front of you guys at 20 years old speaking, knowing that my career is on its way. And it's that kind of moment in time that he stopped me in my tracks and I didn't actually realize it. I'll tell you, in that moment when I said it to him, I did not believe a single word that I said. There was absolutely no way I was going to be here. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't know where I was going to be. I set a goal and I worked towards it, but I didn't actually believe that I could do it. And so I had taken on this idea of what's in the past and decided, let's push the past into the future. And I started to think, how can I follow through with this? And with the wonderful help of the career development in Crystal, I was able to find an internship that could get me where I needed to be and get me doing what I ever so much said I wanted to be doing, regardless of how much I believed in myself. And so I think about these moments in time where you're stopped in your tracks. Think about someone that has impacted you, or someone that's really just stopped you. It's shaken you to your core in a positive light. Let's start with that. For example, just the other day, I was walking home from work, my usual routine from Walnut Street, as I always do, and I called my dad on my way home, and I thought, I'll see what he's up to. I forgot he had a funeral to go to that day, and he didn't pick up. So I thought, whatever. I went into my apartment, got myself ready for class, went up, already running late. As I always say, everyone's simply early. I'm never late. Come on now. You all know me. You all know me. That being said, I got a call from him right as I had stepped out of my apartment to walk up the Chatham apartment steps. And he started the conversation off with, "We're both okay." And that's never a good sign. You're about to prepare yourself for this blow of some kind of information. And for those of you that don't know, my grandmother is 90. So when you hear "we're both okay," you don't believe it. You're not certain what's about to happen. And he went on to tell me that while they were in the procession, heading on their way through the funeral, my dad came to a complete stop. The woman behind him came to a complete stop. The gentleman behind her kept on going. And kept on going right into that woman, and it sent her into my dad and my grandmother. And of course, she hit her head, and she's fine now. Let me preface that. She is doing much better. But knowing all of the fear that ran through my body in that moment, like, oh my God, something's wrong. He said, we're at the hospital now, we're getting checked out, everything's okay. Like, I'm freaking out on the phone. He's like, Marisa, I really need you to calm down. I'm losing my mind. I walked into class. I couldn't tell you a darn thing we talked about that day because that is not where my head was at all. Class came to an end, and I headed down the hallway, and I almost made it out the door. I was almost free of everything for the day. And a girl tapped me on my shoulder, and she said, "How are you doing today? It's been a while." And in that moment, I just kind of stopped, and it was like, oh my God. That's a question we're asked every day. It's a question I'm asked every day. It's a question I ask people every day. But for everything that was going through my head, to know that I had made enough of an impact on her the semester prior when her and I were partners for a group, to know that I had made enough of a difference in her life that she wanted to know how I was doing, and she stopped me in that very moment, took me back. And so it doesn't have to be this big, outrageous moment. Where someone impacts you. It's something that can occur in something so simple that happens every day, but she hit me at that right moment in time. So think about that person for yourself. Now think about a time that you were the impact. We're not always lucky enough to know this. I have made it an active goal to thank people as they've touched me, but it's not always easy. And it's not always something I get to do, and I know that. I had a speaker, I guess you could call him a friend of mine from Youth to Youth. Some of you know that I am involved with Youth to Youth back home, which is a drug and alcohol free program for teens. And in this program, they started off when I was a participant with the Winner's Choice Camp, which was your 8th grade camp that you went to. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Winner's Choice Camp. So it was like this little 3-day thing. I got out of school, so I was super happy about it. As weird as I am about school now, I was so happy to not be in class then. And so I went ahead, it was in 7th grade. I went ahead and I did Winner's Choice Camp that year. And the speaker that came on was so unbelievable and so just inspiring. And while, I struggled to remember some of his message, he was the reason I came back the next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. A year went by and I thought, well, do I really want to do it? But I remembered Devin, and I remembered that I wanted to go back because of how much Devin impacted me in that one moment. I didn't even get to talk to him at all for those 3 days that we were there. I had no idea who this guy was. I'm like, I'm never going to see him again. Are you kidding me? Years later, I went through the program as a participant in middle school. I went through the program then as a participant in high school. I was on youth staff. I was on A-team. I was on admin staff. Took me to this last summer. And he came waltzing in. He had gone on to leave Comp Drug, which is where youth comes from. That's like their home planet. And I really thought at that point, I'm now never going to get a chance to talk to him. There's no way. And he came waltzing in with his wife and his baby. And I pulled him aside and I was like, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah. He had no idea who I was. Not a clue, which is fine. So I said, I'm sure you don't necessarily remember me. You've probably seen me around with youth, but 8 years ago, I think I did the math, it was something like that. 8 years ago, I was in Winner's Choice Camp. And you're the reason that I came back. And it's this program that's the reason I want to be a speaker. And I can't thank you enough for that. And he had this moment, the look on his face, I will never forget it. He had this moment of, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that right now. I didn't even realize the impact that I was being to him. But I got the chance to do that. Even when I thought time and time again, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. There's no way I'm going to be able to talk to him. You guys don't look at the pictures, trust me. You'll see all your own faces. Forget it. Enjoy. So that being said, this is like a walk through my life, by the way. That being said, I lost my train of thought. Think about a time that you were the impact for someone. You know, someone might not have had the chance to thank you, but I know there's been moments in time where people have said to you, you know, I can't thank you enough for this moment, or I can't thank you for what you did. The fact of the matter is, nothing, I know it's going to be distracting, I'm sorry. Nothing for someone can be the difference for you. And that goes both ways. Okay, don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your inner voice. So often in life, we let what's happening in the media, we let what's happening around us, the people around us, I know some of you know what I mean when I say that right now in this very moment, get us down. We let them get into our heads and our minds, and we let them invade and take away from who we are at the core. And so often have I let this happen. So often have we all let this happen. The fact of the matter is, I say that a lot. I feel like I gotta find a new phrase. Sorry. You can't let that happen. You can't let people take away from who you are at the core. You can't let them drown out your inner voice, because you are here for a reason. As I said, and I referenced us all as baby spiders, we are a part of this huge web, and without any one of us, then the web would be different. It wouldn't be this web. And so we have to recognize that our voices are here for a reason. They're put where they are at that very moment, in that very time. We ourselves are put in situations at that very moment, in that very time for a reason. Some might believe otherwise. That's what I believe. Let me say that. And this inner voice, you can't let the media take away from you. We all know what they think the ideal body image is. We all know that we are beautiful women and gentlemen. Thank you, Ron. Yes, you're a beautiful woman too. And we have to just push forward from that. I almost see it as you shed your own skin. So over time, you go through these transitions in life, and you start to feel less and less like you. And you've got to come back to you. You've got to come back to that inner voice that you know and you love. Because that inner voice is the very inner voice set to make the impact for someone else. Whether or not you know you're making that impact. That's the fun thing about your impact and your purpose. You don't necessarily know you're doing it. So, recognizing who you are and not losing sight of your inner voice, and pushing forward with that inner voice and shedding that skin as you need to. I recently went through a transition of my own just a few short months ago. A few short months ago, I don't want to say who I'd become, but I didn't like where I was at. Let me say that. I was uncomfortable. And they always say that, when you're uncomfortable, you're getting ready to make a transition. And I made a transition, let me tell you. That being said, though, I just had to hold on tight. I didn't know how. I was losing my mind. I was at wit's end. I was struggling to find an apartment. I was struggling to see the light at the end of the tunnel of this semester, and now I'm days away, weeks away from graduation. I was struggling to recognize that I was going to get through this, to recognize that this internship would actually work out in the end, and that tutorial would come to an end. My board meeting is tomorrow. Let me tell you guys, I was so grateful for that moment. I actually said that in the email. I can't wait to present my findings to you tomorrow with a smile on my face. That being said, though, to recognize that while all of this is happening, there's so much going on, there's so much on the outside world coming and trying to take away from the inner world, the inner me. I had to recognize that in due time, and just, of course, finding myself again will get me back to where I need to be. It will get me back to the inner voice that is the impact for someone else, that is my purpose. So, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. So, you have to, how do I want to say this? You have to stand up for yourself. Courage is your determination. It is your reason to do something. It's your, what's a good word for it? The speaker's lost for words, that's funny. Oh, come on, that was a good joke. Are you kidding me? I was proud of that one. Anyways, your courage is I guess you could say your determination. It's, you have faith in yourself to do something, and so you have this courage to go out and do it. You're going to stand up and do it. And we have to find courage. We have to have the courage that we have to go out and do the things that we want to do. Set those goals. Achieve those dreams. I had mentioned, this is a complete dream to me. I cannot believe I'm standing up in front of, a handful of you, but nonetheless, all of you that are here to support me. I cannot thank you enough for that. That being said, I would have never in a million years fathomed this moment in my life at 20 years old before I walked across stage to graduate from college. That is uncanny. I see you smiling. It makes me happy. We're almost there. We're almost across that stage, I promise. So you have to recognize that you have to follow your own dreams. You have to set those dreams and know, set the goals, the whole shebang, follow them, but have the courage to do it. Seek out that intuition that there is to do it. Know that it's right there in front of you, and it's not as far as you might think. This has been a crazy whirlwind of many things. Very uplifting things have gone on throughout this internship. Very much so things that I never even thought were a thing, if you may, or something I would be doing have happened in this internship. Nonetheless, it has all been the little cogs that have gotten me to where I'm at. And so think about those dreams that you guys might have. Think about the little cogs that you might be stuck in, or think about those dreams that you've already achieved, and go after them. Fight for that moment, and fight for that dream, essentially. Now I'm just redundant. Okay. I'm coming back. This was one of my favorite parts. There were so many parts in this video that I saw, and I was like, this would be so cool to talk about. But I'm coming back. Everyone say it with me. I'm coming back. I'm coming back! Yes! Okay. I'm sweating so bad up here. I'm like, everyone look at my armpits. Okay. I'm coming back. You have to come back to who you are. I had mentioned this a little bit in shedding the skins and recognizing your inner voice. But come back to who you are. Come back to that inner core. Recognize that you are here for a reason. You have this purpose. You have this impact on people every day. Because as much as people are impacting us, we're doing the very same. And that was a hard realization that I had made over time. I have a little bit of a story as it relates to suicide prevention, and things of that nature without boring you with all the details. It's that kind of stuff in my life that has shown me, I have to come back to who I am because I am the impact for someone else. As much as people were the impact for me in that moment, people have been the impact over time. So come back to who you are. Come back to those open arms waiting for you. Come back to that inner core. Come back to The person you look in the mirror and you know and you love. And some of us, it's hard to look in the mirror and know who that person is. And it's hard to see who that person is. But it's in those moments that you've got to tell yourself exactly who that person is. And I know we don't always believe it. I will be the first to stand up and say I don't always believe it when I look in the mirror. And that's as early as yesterday. The fact of the matter is we have to stand there and tell ourselves who we are because we will believe it. Renee and I actually had wonderful conversations about this last week. It's very hard, and I'm going to go into a little bit of the self-talk, so bear with me. Self-talk is, I actually did not a movement, a message. Thank you. Okay, a message on this last week. Self-talk is literally you actively talking to yourself or talking through something. This is something that can swing on the positive, it can swing on the negative, so we'll focus on the positive. But it's actively telling yourself, I am beautiful. I can do this. I've got this. That test, I have terrible testing anxiety. I'm going to conquer that test tomorrow, whatever it may be. It's actively talking yourself through it. Renee brought to my attention that it's sometimes hard for some of us to talk through it. So you've got to find what truly works for you. Sometimes it's writing it down. Sometimes it's, I love Post-it notes for this, sticking them everywhere. My life is nothing but a Post-it note. It's beautiful. But sticking them everywhere, you know what I mean? Or sometimes just typing it out. Sometimes I'm in class and I can't do that. So I'll sit there and I'll just type it out. And I'll actively just read it to work through something. And so it's that kind of thing and those little tools that you can use to come back to who you are or to remind yourself, not even necessarily come back, just to remind yourself of who you are in those very moments. I can't thank you guys enough for all of your support in all of this. This has been such an unbelievable experience, and I can't thank you guys enough for attending today. To be here for this and for me, and it just, I'm going to start crying if I keep talking, so I'm going to stop talking. Nonetheless, I leave you with this. As I mentioned before, nothing to someone could be the difference for you, just like the difference for you could be, let me start over. Nothing to someone could be the difference for you, just like the difference for someone could be nothing for you. So know that every day you are making an impact. Every day you are changing someone's life, and you might never, ever even know it. They might never get the chance to tell you. That's okay. Know that it's happening, and that these things are intertwined, and they are working all around us. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Live your life with passion, with some drive. Decide that you're going to push yourself. The last chapter to your life has not been written yet, and it doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it?
This year I will make this goal become a reality. I won't talk about it anymore. I can.